Right, today we're going to be calculating the radius and diameter of a circle. I'm going to go through what that vocabulary means in a moment. To be successful, you're going to correctly label the parts of a circle. You're going to understand the relationship between the radius and the diameter within a circle, and you're going to apply that knowledge to solve problems. So first of all, we need to know three things about a circle. I've got here a circle in black. I can see the middle of the circle with the dot in the middle. And the first thing I'm going to need to know is that distance around the outside, the green part. Starting from the arrow and going all the way around the outside to the arrow. Now some of you might call that a perimeter, and it would be a perimeter in any other 2D shape, but for a circle it has a very special name, and it is called a circumference. So a circumference here is the distance around the circle. Okay, next one I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at this red line, the one I've labelled D. This is one of the most important ones that we're going to be looking at today. This line is the distance from any point on the circle to the opposite point on the circle that goes through the middle. So I can see there's one point on the circle, and this line here goes all the way through the middle to the opposite point on the circle, and that is called the diameter. I'm sure you've already guessed it and filled it in from your date and title. Lastly, I've got here a blue line that goes from the middle to the outside here. And the distance between the centre to any point on the circle, I can see how my blue one is at any point on the circle. That's the point it's on. That is called my radius. So I've got circumference, distance around the outside, diameter, it goes through the middle from one side to the other, and the radius goes from the middle out to any point on the circle. Your task one is to label the three parts of a circle with a definition that's going to help you to remember what each part is throughout this lesson. So pause the video now, have a go at task one, and come back to me when you're ready for task two. So, tell me something about this radius. I've got a radius here, which is the blue part, which is 5 centimetres, and I'm noticing that that must be the same any other point in the circle. All of these pink lines must also be 5 centimetres. So I'm also noticing then that if I've got 5 centimetres from the outside to the middle, and then if I carried that line to the opposite point, that would be a diameter, and that must be 2 times the radius. So if I've got 5 here and 5 here, then that means that my diameter must be 10 centimetres. Now I can remember this in a very simple formula. 2 times the radius equals the diameter. When I have a 2r together, it's a little bit algebraic, it just tells me 2 times r. And r we know stands for the radius today. So 2 times the radius is going to give me the diameter. Now I could work that backwards. If I was given the diameter, which I know as being 10 now, 10 centimetres, I could just as easily calculate the radius, because the radius must be half of the diameter. So you can see here I've got another formula, radius equals half of the diameter. So basically all I'm going to be doing today is doubling or halving. If I'm given the radius, I'm going to double it to get the diameter. If I'm given the diameter, I'm going to half it to get the radius. So let's have a go. Here are some radiuses. So my radius first is 15. So first I'm going to do is write out diameter equals 2 times the radius. So my diameter must equal 15 multiplied by 2. So my diameter, nice and easy, must be 30. And I need to remember my units, centimetres. Okay, next one here. First thing I'm going to do is remember to write out my formula. Diameter equals 2 times the radius. So my diameter must equal 2 times 4.5. My diameter must be 9 meters this time. Final one, down here. I'm going to write my formula out first. So diameter must equals 2 times 83. So my diameter must equal 166, and this time I'm working in millimeters. I'm going to go through going the other way as well. However, if you are getting a little bit confused, go straight to task 2. Start calculating all of the diameters when I've given you the radius of those questions, and if you want you can come back and listen to the second part. If you're happy with that and you want to hear both parts at the same time, then just continue listening. Oh, too far. Okay, so now I'm given the diameter, and I need to remember that if I'm given the diameter I need to half it to get the radius. So the radius equals half of my diameter. So this time I've got radius equals half of 28. I could write that 28 divided by 2, that would be fine. So my radius must equal 14, not 44. There we go, 14 centimetres. Right, let's do that again, starting with my formula. Radius equals half the diameter. So my radius must equal 35, I'm going to write it slightly differently, divided by 2, same thing. So my radius must equal 17.5 centimetres. Oh, let me make my point really clear there. Right, last one. Again, write my formula. Radius equals half diameter. So my radius equals 6.4 divided by 2. Just another way of writing it for you. So my radius must equal 3.2 centimetres there. Okay, what I'd like to do is have a go at task 1 now. No, sorry, scrap that. Task 2. I will show you what that looks like. Tuesday, green and blue. There we go. Right, so I've got task 2, calculating the radius and the diameter of each of these circles. Task 3, you're looking at this in some worded problems. All answers at the bottom. If you've flown through these, then you can pause the video at this point, have a go at the 2 questions here. In about 10 seconds, I'm going to go through these 2 answers. So only do these once you've done everything else. Pause the video now, and I will go through the answers afterwards. So, first of all, Fred says, if I know the radius of a circle, I can calculate its diameter by halving it. Austin says, if I know the diameter of a circle, I can calculate its radius by doubling it. Do I agree with their statements? Well, first thing I need to know is that the formula, you have to do this on here, there we go, formula that I'm going to be using is double the radius equals the diameter. So if I know the radius, I calculate its diameter by halving it. No, I don't. I calculate its diameter by doubling it. So that one can't be right. Austin says if I know its diameter of a circle, I calculate its radius by doubling it. That can't be right because if I know the diameter, I have to half it to find the radius. So in actual fact, neither are correct, but this is something that can be mistaken very, very easily. I remember the radius being a shorter word, and therefore the shorter part, the shorter length of the circle. If you can remember a different way, then please tell me. That's how I generally remember it. Over here, Millie thinks the radius of this circle is 17 centimetres. Do we agree? Well, 34 divided by 2 is 17. So she's done the correct calculation. However, her problem is that this line does not go through the middle of the circle. Remember, a diameter goes from one point to straight through the middle to the opposite point on the other side. So that would be my diameter, and as you can see, that line would be quite a bit longer than 34 centimetres. So she isn't using the diameter of the shape, so the radius isn't 17 centimetres. Everyone's wrong on this page.